All right, guys, we're back. Welcome back to the Hangout.
And we back.
Hey, listen, if you just joined us, you know the drill. You know how we do. Go back, check out that BMT news, and check out what did we get off our chest this week. Y'all know how we do, man.
A lot of good stuff.
Good
stuff, guys.
That's right. Hey, listen, I'm happy right now, man, okay? Because right now I get a chance to talk about something that I've had a chance to experience, not just as a movie, but also as a game.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Talk about it.
Hey, I got to do it, man. Listen, here's your warning. This is the spoiler review for that new movie, 2023, Dungeons and Dragons. So, X, tell them what they got to do if they haven't seen this movie.
Y'all gonna have to skip forward.
Y'all heard them.
Skip forward.
You heard them. You have been warned.
Spoiled. This is your opportunity now. Go get you some water. Go get you some food.
That's right.
Skip. Come back. We got some premium content coming after that segment.
That's right.
That you don't want to miss.
Diving very deep, all right? Very deep, okay? So let's get ready to dive into this thing. And I want to introduce someone that very, very, very dear friend of mine. I've been knowing for a while. Like I said, this is full circle for me. Get to bring him in on this, you know. As a guy that's looked out for me, I get a chance to look out for him, get a chance to introduce the world to my friend, Chopper, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up, give it up, give it up. That's right, that's right. Thank you, X, because you know we love that sound for here in the Hangout, baby. Hey, listen, man. Chopper, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, listen, for the folks that out here that don't know you, all our Hangout fans, why don't you give them a little background, man? Tell them just who Chopper is.
Alrighty, so Chopper is sort of a combination of my first and last name. I've been going by Chopper for years and years, since way back in the early 2000s when I was in the Navy. I was a nuke electrician on a submarine, and that's a little bit of my geek cred.
Did you say this is your origin story?
Yeah, origin story.
It might be a little part of that. Yeah, I would go so far as to say that my true origin into geekdom is when I got my dragon tattoo at the age of 18.
He didn't just do that, did he? Did he name drop the dragon tattoo? Okay, well, I'm going to name drop my dragon shirt. You know what I'm saying? I got this House of Dragon shirt on. I'm representing up in here, baby. Let's get it.
Man, full circle.
X, hold on, wait. Where's your dragon at, bro?
See what had happened. I was actually an elf. So.
I love it. Okay, cool. All right, man. So just to let you guys know, the reason why Chopper is here, because not only are we going to talk about the 2023 movie that we went to see as for a screening, we're also going to talk about the correlation between that movie and the actual game. Because please believe it, this is an adaptation. This comes from a game that was established years ago.
Why? What? There's a game?
There is a game, as a matter of fact.
Oh, my God.
And guess what? I brought what I feel is our authority on Dungeons and Dragons. You understand what I'm saying? A real live dungeon master sitting right here in the Hangout, guys. We got him. Okay, so for all you people out there that have wondered about Dungeons and Dragons, or if you heard about it, or you don't know anything about it, this is the moment right here for you to learn everything that you need to know about Dungeons and Dragons.
Time to learn.
So what we'll do is just start us off. We'll allow Chopper, our authority on this, to just tell us a little bit about background from D&D. What you got, Chopper?
Well,
Our resident dungeon master.
That's right.
So D&D is short for Dungeons and Dragons, which is a fantasy tabletop role-playing game, or TTRPG for short. Role-playing is typically where you are pretending to be anything other than yourself.
I love it.
Anytime you are telling a story and you're pretending that you're someone else in that story other than yourself,
Right.
you're role-playing. So this game was first published in 1974 by Tactical Studies Rules Incorporated, designed by Gary Gygax and Dave Arnson.
Okay.
The Wizards of the Coast has taken over from TSR. Don't know the specifics on the legalities and who bought who and all of that. But they are a subsidiary of Hasbro. So
Big company.
Toy guys
That's right.
all the toy guys out there.
and gals.
And that's also Transformers, isn't it? Don't they own Transformers, Hasbro? I want to say they own Transformers as well.
They made a lot of Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
One or two.
Yeah.
So D&D is commonly recognized as the beginning of modern role-playing games and the role-playing game industry. There are a lot of very similar games and platforms and rule systems out there that are also role-playing. They are very frequently called D&D or Dungeons and Dragons, but they are not actually those specific rules. So I wouldn't call them copycats. I would call them competitors.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
And so that D&D and role-playing in general has deeply influenced, I would go so far, in my opinion, to say all of the role-playing video games that are out there. There is some influence there.
So you're talking about the Baldur's Gate, the Dark Souls trilogies, all these things here.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. You guys hear it here now. You know what I mean? So you understand, like, Dungeons and Dragons has been around for a long time.
Verified OG.
Long time. Whether it's the rolling of the dice, whether it's the elves and the barbarians and all these things here, it started from Dungeons and Dragons, guys. It's just what it is. Okay. So, so let me ask you this, man. Have you been a dungeon master before?
I have. I've what you would call it DM'd several times.
Okay.
We actually started playing in COVID. COVID is what kind of got us started, and we did it all remote.
I did not know that. You actually just dropped some news on me.
Yeah.
Because I know you, but I did not know. I was wondering when did you start? Because it's been around for so long, and even myself, before we met and you brought it to me, I wondered about the game, but I didn't know anyone that plays the game. You understand what I'm saying? And of course, you had the rumors or you had the things where, oh, this is only for the nerds or you know what I'm saying? So, I've always been curious about it. And because I like playing role-playing games, whether that's Skyrim with Elder Scrolls and all these things here, I always knew that it derived from Dungeons and Dragons. So I'm actually surprised that, from what I've seen you guys doing and being a part of, it would seem like you guys been playing this for like decades, but what, besides COVID, what just really interested you? Some people, they started other kind of businesses or they did this and they did that during COVID. What made you guys say, you know what, it's time to get into some D&D?
Well, I've always been a big fan of dragons, as I mentioned.
There you go.
Reading The Hobbit, in 4th or 5th grade, I believe.
Yes.
Regardless of whether my teacher actually believed that I read it. I did read it, and I did write a good darn book report on it.
He read it, Teach. He read it, okay?
Conviction. Boys, he did it.
We saw the book report. He read it, I'm telling you. All right?
He would not kid about you.
Okay, so you started in COVID.
Yep.
How many guys did you play with?
On average, I would say 3 or 4, including me as the DM. We in my original group, it's basically my brothers.
Okay.
And we would kind of, depending on the night, depending on who had something prepared, we'd play sort of a monster of the week type, jumping around and just, go fight a random battle.
Right.
There you go. Now, is this game only for a few people? Can more people play? Like, is there a max to this? Is there a minimum?
I would say a comfortable max for players is 5 players and a DM.
6 guys total.
Yeah, that would
gals.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay.
You can. There are actually Dungeons and Dragons and some of the other competitor rule systems. There are some that are actually designed for 2 people only. But you can typically play any of the normal campaigns with 2 players, 3 players. I think typically the games are set up for 4 players and a DM, but you can always push it either way.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, no, that's really cool, man. I want to say that for me, when you brought it to my attention, the slight apprehension for me was that I felt like, well, I need to know all this stuff about Dungeons and Dragons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need to know this and I need to know that and so forth and so on. And do you think that a person like who's just completely ignorant to the game can join a game and actually have fun the first time out, or will they feel like, you know, maybe inferior to the other guys who just they know all these things and the histories and the backgrounds and whatever? Is this something that's a brand newbie? What you call it? Is that what they call them, newbies?
Yeah.
A noob?
Noobs.
Can a noob like me
Noobs.
come into a game and play it and actually enjoy myself?
I would say you can absolutely join up and not know anything at all. It does make it a little easier if you do a little homework in advance.
Sure.
You can, you know, YouTube it, find some books.
Right.
You can Google any of the stuff online. I think it's 100% natural to feel a little overwhelmed
Okay.
going into it.
Right.
There is a lot of information that adds to the complexity, but if you can find a good DM for your first game, then they'll make it easy
Awesome.
and fun, and more importantly, fun.
Fun. That's what it has to be.
You know, because I can relate from experience. You know, I started in 2019, and shout out to my DM, Frosty, fans all the way. But when we started out, I was completely ignorant to the game.
Yeah.
I knew about it.
Sure.
You know, I knew of it. Didn't have the best knowledge of it.
Right.
But I was curious about the game, and you know, I didn't mind, so I
Right.
jumped right in.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And that first game, even though I didn't know much, I still kind of like, I can see myself doing this.
Right.
This is nice. I left that session wanting to learn more.
Right.
Now, I did bother the hell out of my DM, but I mean, you know, questions every single second. You know, I'm pretty sure I threw off his plan. Maybe he had to keep improvising for me. I don't know.
He probably changed the story just to set up like just kill him first.
But it did, like you said, Chop. It made me want to dive in. I did the Googles. I did the YouTubes. You know, I looked at character stats, and everything that I could possibly learn to try to make myself appear at least like I'm ready and I can handle this game.
Right. Right.
You know.
And that's perfectly fine to do that. It's just typically, I wouldn't expect a newbie to dive into it, especially given they have no idea if they're ever going to like it. I wouldn't expect someone to invest a bunch of time their first time,
Right.
Yeah.
because you don't want them to waste that time if they don't like it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't expect many people to not like it if they give it, but you know, some people just don't like cats.
You dog people.
How could you not like a cat, man? What's wrong? But it's funny because shout out to my man X. X is just hardcore like that. You know what I'm saying? That's just what he does. He's going to give his all, and this is how he does. So I'm not surprised to hear saying on your first time you want to dive deep because you don't want to be like behind. You know what I'm saying? Like so behind, like you know nothing, right?
Yeah.
And while you're talking about your experience, let me talk about my experience. Sitting here with the man that started me on it. For me, of course, and you know what? Even before I dive into that, because we talked offline about it. Part of my apprehension was honestly some of the rumors that were flying around. Chop, I want you to touch on some of those rumors that were flying around back in the 80s. You know, when you first heard about Dungeons and Dragons.
So there was a rather large religious moral panic based around rumors that it was all about Satanism and suicide and devil worshiping. You know, there were rumors that kids were sacrificing cats and stuff in the basements and
Really?
doing all kinds of bizarre things. Turns out that all of those rumors were false.
It sounds ridiculous when you hear it out loud. Like
Yeah,
just hearing you
actually,
say
when you
that,
say
it
right.
sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, they sound like you one step away from a Ouija board, right? You and yeah. and of course, being younger, you know, you hear that stuff, and you're like, oh my God, you know what I mean? I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to play the game, go to hell, you know, and whatever. So fast forward to my more adult, mature mind. You know, I know I am spiritually and everything like that. So going into it, I'm like, okay, well, let me try this. Let me see, you know, and I trust you. You know, our backgrounds, you know, grew up in church and everything like that. I have to say, man, that my experience was like this thing of camaraderie between players, you know, guys, girls, whoever, he, she's, and all those pronouns. It was camaraderie. And I think what I liked about it most was it allowed me to go back to a time when I actually had an imagination. Like, I forgot that I had an imagination.
Yeah.
Because the way things are set up for you now, your imagination is preset. Here's your phones, here's your video games, here's your TV, here's your this and that and the other, and you already, we're going to give you imagination. Don't even worry about it. You don't even have to work for it. It's already imagined for you.
Yep.
But then when you play this and you start to do these things where you have to be so descriptive with everything that you're doing, you were like, wow, my imagination actually still works. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm back in the yard with the kids, you know, got my stick and my ball, and you know what I'm saying? I built my fort and everything like that, and I'm just having a great old time, you know? And I love that about it. And like I said, I love the camaraderie. I love the fact that there were times when, you know, we set out to play a game, but then we just end up talking, you know, and having a good time. And the next thing you know, 2 hours is going by and we might get ready to get started. We probably went up the road, you know what I'm saying? And then cut the game off, you know what I mean? But that's what I loved about it. I love the fact that through that, I met other men that were just really cool people who had kids and wives and all these things here. And for at least 2 hours, 2 hours were allotted out of their life, out of their day, that they can sit there and chill with their friends and go to a fantasy world. It doesn't matter what happened at work with your boss, what troubles you're having at home. At that moment right there, you're either that elf or you're that barbarian or you're that mage or you're this whatever. And your job is to get to the end of this story. You know what I mean? That's it. Everything else doesn't matter at that moment.
Exactly.
And I love that about it, man. And I want to say thank you. Let me say thank you on air right now for allowing me to be a part of that, because ultimately, as we know, your brother ended up inviting me to his wedding, you know, and we talking about one of the most special days of his life, and someone he knew maybe 7 months or whatever just from playing a game, you know, and it brought about that for him to say, hey, man, come on and share this moment with me. So I will never forget that. And it started through Dungeons and Dragons, though.
Yep.
That's beautiful, man.
The same game that everyone thought, oh, this is going to turn you wicked, it's going to turn you this, whatever. And I'm sorry, I have to debunk that. That's not what happened. As a matter of fact, it brought actually more love. I have 3 or 4 guys now that if I went to Indiana or Michigan, they welcome me with open arms. You know, not with Ouija boards. You understand what I'm saying? So,
Let them know.
so I want to say for that, I want to speak up on Dungeons and Dragons for that. That's what it did for me. So, you know, I just want to bring this to the forefront, man, because I know there's a lot of misunderstandings when it comes to this, you know, and I just want to get this out here before we even start talking about the movie, so people just have a little background on what it is that we're even talking about. So, X, how long did you play D&D?
I wish I could tell you guys that I had the timeline that you guys had. And, you know, with all due respect to, you know, my D&D group and our core and our DM, you know, it was a lot of personalities to manage. I would say I got in a good 2-3 months, maybe, you know, before everything kind of went south. Everybody had their, you know, lives to go live, and people got too busy.
Sure.
Our DM ended up getting busy. He moved. He's living his life now.
Sure.
You know, he's getting his chef career going. Like, I'm proud and I'm happy for him.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? And everybody else, it didn't seem like a group that, like, you know, had the time to come together as we would, because we played in like a bigger group too.
Okay.
I know you mentioned that 5 plus the DM would be a great comfort zone, but I think we played with maybe 7 or 8 plus
okay.
the DM.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a lot.
That's a lot, yeah.
It's a lot of us. It's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff to manage.
Right.
I think you can speak to that, Chop, about, you know, trying to help the game kind of free flow and keep everything cohesive.
Right.
You know, but when you got all these people you have to manage with these different scenarios and stuff like that, it can kind of throw the game off. You can, like you guys said, get up the street or get around the corner.
Right.
And we haven't even dove that far into the story.
Right.
You know what I mean? Before we're trying to correct something or...
Next time on Dungeons and Dragons.
Epic adventurers cross the streets.
Yeah. So, no, I feel you on that. And real quick, X, but did it deter you? Did it turn you off from it? Your experience, did that turn you off from it?
I won't say it. Initially, that's how I felt, right? In the moment, obviously, because it's like I'm getting frustrated because I'm trying to learn a game and nobody else seems to want to take it serious.
Of course.
Maybe it's because maybe I take things too serious. I don't know. I still like to joke and be lighthearted.
Of course.
But when I look back at the situation, no, I was never like deterred from playing the game because, as a matter of fact, to this day, I remember him hitting me up on Facebook asking to rejoin, or he was gonna start up from because it was during COVID times.
Sure.
So he was gonna try to restart it up. He just needed the players.
Right.
And then I told him, hey, I'm down. Just let me know if you find all the players.
Right.
And unfortunately, never heard back from, what I'm saying, Alex is, like I said, living his life.
That's cool.
And that's no problem. But I still have that desire to play the game.
Right.
I still want to dive back into it, learn more about it, and find my own D&D group.
That's what's up.
You know what I mean?
That's what's up.
The desire is still there. The love is still there.
Right.
I like Chop mentioned earlier, you don't want to get into it and feel like you wasted your time trying to learn this game, and it might not end up being for you. I don't feel like I wasted my time because I started enjoying it.
Right.
And I guess that kind of added to my frustration. It's like I'm actually starting to enjoy this. I'm enjoying that camaraderie that you're talking about, having that good time with these guys through this game.
Right.
And it just came to a screeching halt.
Right. Oh, yeah, that would. Yeah. That would be very disappointing, as a matter of fact. Like, I'm just starting to like this. Yeah. So, guys, as y'all can probably hear, there is a lot of love for this game. I'm new to it. I'm brand new to it. But I can say I have the days that I'm sitting here like, man, it would be great to see my guys sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Just hang out with them and see what we can come up with, what mischief we can come up with on this game. You know what I mean? So, and we've had some funny times. We've had some times that were just hilarious, man. Hilarious. And let me tell you right now, just a little bit of advice. If you do dive into this game, and most times if you do, you're going to be playing through Zoom. Okay, because everyone is spread out everywhere, but you're playing through Zoom. Make sure you record that Zoom meeting. You understand what I'm saying? Hit that Zoom, man, because you can go back and look at it and listen and be like, oh my gosh. It is absolutely hilarious. You understand what I'm saying? So real quick, we just want to give y'all a quick little background on this game so you would know exactly where this came from and what we're talking about. And here we go with Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves 2023 movie. Let's do it. Yes.
Here's the thing. We're a team of thieves. And when you do this, you're bound to make enemies. Sometimes those enemies come looking for revenge.
Now, here's the thing. Chris Pine is everywhere. He's everywhere now, man. I mean, he's Captain Kirk.
Not Chris Pratt, right?
Yeah, not Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt is everywhere too, because I think he's Mario. He's this person. There. But Chris Pine too. No, it's the Chris's. Chris Pine, Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, Chris Rock, Chris. Good grief. That's a lot of christenings around here. Right? Yeah. Chop, let me ask you something. You watched this movie. How do you feel that Chris Pine did as basically the lead of this movie?
I think he did a great job. He exemplifies what a bard, in my mind, is supposed to be. Someone who's very verbose, someone who doesn't take a lot of things very seriously, and somewhat of a... if I play a bard, I'm probably going to be stealing things too. So that's exactly what I thought of.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right. Cool. Yeah, I know. I think he did great as well, man. I do like Chris Pine. I'm not going to front, you know what I'm saying? I think he's a great actor. But for me, not knowing exactly the bard thing and everything and just looking at him as the thief, and not just somebody who just has sticky fingers, you know what I mean? But it's like he steals with a purpose. You understand what I'm saying? So if he actually steals with a purpose. There's an end game to his stealing, right? He needs these particular items to get to this particular part of the story. So
he didn't need to snap in order to get these.
No Thanos snaps and no Infinity Stones and all that good stuff. So yeah, all right, let's go. Let's rock it.
That right there, watching that dragon fight, that's not your typical way you think of a dragon. That was a acid dragon.
Truth be told.
Right. So
we helped the wrong person.
You're saying like usually the dragons are spewing fire.
Yeah.
But this one was spewing acid.
Yeah, so typically what people would think of as a dragon is fire.
Yep.
In D&D, there are, actually, I don't know how many, but there are a lot of different kinds of, for lack of a better words, breath weapons that dragons will have. And they will typically be of a certain color. green dragon, red dragon, black
Sure.
dragon. So they'll each have a different type of projectile breath weapon.
Wow.
Blue Eyes White Dragon, yeah.
Right. Something I did not know. You think dragon, you're just thinking fire,
I didn't know that.
scaly. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to mess with dragon, right?
Normal fire breathing type.
Sure.
But now there's water types and there's grass types.
So we got airbender dragons now. Okay. Let's hit it. What else we got?
Steal the wrong thing. We didn't mean to unleash the greatest evil the world has ever known. But we're gonna fix it.
So how do we pull that off?
Never change, huh?
Figure it out over a drink?
Probably best.
You need
Give us a fighting.
Now I got to say, man,
Right.
I like Michelle Rodriguez as well, and most times you're seeing her in Fast and Furious or anything like that, and she plays those tough female roles like really well. I was really impressed with her in this, man. I really did like her in this one. You know what I mean? I did. It didn't seem too forced or anything like that. Like, I really did enjoy her character,
Kind of like a different side to her characters. Her
It really was.
and refreshing.
It really was. It was a little bit more in depth, I guess. Not in depth, but fleshed out. For me.
There you go. That's a good term.
Yeah, it was a little more fleshed out. Then instead of just let's bring in the brute. You know what I'm saying, or whoever. We just need somebody that's going to kick somebody's butt or whatever. You really understood her motivation with certain things that was going on in the movie.
There we go.
And they actually touched to part of her more sensitive side that you didn't think that she had. And once you find out, you was like, oh wow, you know what I mean? It really opened her up as a character.
Well-rounded.
Yeah, very well rounded. So let's get it,
And
Chop.
Also, I you can tell she did some working out because she's sporting them guns.
Dude. I think this is the most I've seen her. Right, she's cut. She's cutting this, man.
Yeah.
Very impressed. And look, and
Made it to the role.
and still pretty at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah, she's a gorgeous woman.
Got this, right?
I know you don't.
Ooh, she let him have it too on that part. Oh my goodness, she let him have it.
Magic.
I love projectiles.
And you.
Yes. Now that right there, oh dude, you got to pause it right there. Let's hold up on that. Now at that moment, did you like resonate with that when you saw that character? Did you feel like, oh, that's something I could see in the D&D game as we're playing? Like this, what was this? A owl bear,
bear?
wolf bear, or something?
Yeah, the owl bear. Yeah.
Okay.
I've never had the opportunity to actually play a druid. I've always heard that they're a fairly complicated class. But yeah, that looked amazing.
Yeah.
To watch the different transformation or what do they call that? Wild shape.
Wild shape. That's right. Which I mean, dude, perfect word for it, because it was wild watching this thing transform from this to that depending on the situation of what they needed to be, whether it was as small as a mouse or a fly on the wall. I mean, whatever they needed to be, whatever they needed the situation to call for, they were on it, and it was like so entertaining just watching them go from thing to thing to thing to thing, and you're like, oh my God, they're gonna get caught. Oh no, they really gonna get caught. No, they got, and just watching them kind of get out of every little situation, it was absolutely amazing, so entertaining.
There's that improvising we talked when we touched on.
Yeah.
Just being able to adapt to a situation.
And that's funny because that is what it seemed like. It did seem like that way. They was improvising as you were going. Like, well, no, this situation calls for this, so I need that thing to turn into this, And I'm glad that you said class, because we didn't actually break that down into the fact that they are broken down into different classes. When we talked about the thieves and the mages, and these are all classes in the game.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think we can circle back, touch on it after the trailer.
Yeah.
While we're giving thoughts.
Yeah, we definitely got to get that.
It's an owl bear.
Let's go!
Be warned.
That was cool.
There is evil here.
I'm glad he's on our side.
Now, isn't that old boy from what's those movies? Because I think he was removed from them. I don't want to butcher his name. Reg Jean Page. I mean, I guess it's a French name, right? Roger.
I was gonna try and pronounce it Reggie.
Reggie, right?
Probably.
Bridgertons. Yes,
I
Bridgertons.
didn't think he was removed, but
I thought he was removed, wasn't he? I mean, yeah, he was removed. I mean, it was some kind of controversy behind it a little bit, And all of a sudden he was gone, man. And yeah, no, he
It was
Not in the second season.
Yeah, like the controversy was that they had the great for well received first season, and he's the main star,
Right.
but he didn't return or renew his contract for the second season. You know, they went ahead and greenlit it. They were getting ready to film it and everything, but he said I was done. I fulfilled my role. I
Wow.
don't think I want to continue to do this.
That's crazy.
So they went ahead with the second season without him.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, I mean, because I remember seeing him, and you know, of course, being a handsome man and everything like that. You know, the ladies loved him. You know what I mean? And from what I understand, you know, great actor. So that was actually surprising. So I was happy to see him in this role, and I believe he owned that role. To be honest with you, man, he owned that role without a doubt.
The first season of Bridgerton.
Right.
You know, as a person who saw the first season, you know,
Right.
it kind of, the first few episodes of the second season kind of felt like something was missing with him not being a part of the story.
Gotcha.
Because the way the first season ended, it didn't kind of like.
You didn't get any closure, any type of with him.
He kind of like, you know, he was still there. It was still kind of like a prominent role. They told a great story in the first season.
Gotcha. So they mentioned him but did not show him. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sorry, man. But hey, listen, you did great in this D&D movie. So hey, if that's what we get, then I'll take it. So let me ask you this though, Chop. What do you think about his role? What was the class? What would
He played a paladin.
paladin?
Yep. You know, actually, no. I don't think he was human because he was from the same nation or location of some of the
Was it the red?
villains.
Right, because
So, yeah, I
remember because he had that
don't know if
mark.
it's supposed to be a different
Yep.
race, which that's controversial as far as having the different what I would call species
Right.
called races. That's a whole back thing around D&D's not so popular history.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not on the specifics on more of what his character was.
Gotcha.
Wasn't an elf or nothing, no. Just...
I don't think so. The who was the elf?
And
Fought?
yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Doric? No,
No,
Doric.
Doric was the owl bear, and
Yeah.
I don't recall them actually specifying anyone as an elf in that whole movie. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think they were. I think they probably tried to avoid that whole subject given some of the controversy that's come up recently behind that. They've been trying to fix some of those
Small
issues.
nuances.
There's actually controversy with elves and such.
I don't know that they would elves, but just the fact that you'd have different peoples
Right.
who are obviously different, like say
course.
the cat people,
Of course.
or the orcs.
Right.
Obviously not the same species, but D&D has for such a long time called them different. There's quite a bit of controversy as to which way they could go about it. They could go a couple of different ways, and it's going to be interesting to see how they actually end up going.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's get on back to this trailer.
This one's dangerous. But whatever happens,
That was cool. That pudgy dragon. Have you ever seen a dragon that pudgy? Oh my God. Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves.
Exactly that you bring to this.
I'm a planner. I make plans.
You've already made the plan, so
If the existing plan fails, I make a new plan.
you make plans that fail.
No,
He also plays the lute.
not relevant.
What's funny is to me, it's almost like they were kind of alluding to him like being a dungeon master kind of, you know what I mean? Because he's making these plans, he's writing the story as it goes or whatever. But so to me, it kind of felt like a little bit of a wink, you know, because as we were just saying earlier,
Yeah.
as the DM, you might have to go this way or go that way and whatever. But
Well, that's kind of how I was gonna propose my question to you guys, you
Right.
know, because this film is pretty DM-esque. So,
Right.
how do you guys feel the director did as the dungeon master?
I mean, because that's exactly what he was, wasn't it?
Come up.
Well, let me let Chop. Like I said, let me let Chop come on in with that first.
I think he did a great job of illustrating all the twists and turns that happen in the course of a game,
Right.
or even in just a single session.
Right.
The constant back and forth, the I'm going to do this thing, and then you get to watch how it either epically succeeds
Right.
or completely a disaster. Yeah. And it, you know, independent. It's all about the dice. How do the dice roll?
Right.
You could win. You could fail, and they frequently happen in the same session. So it's a lot of fun to see that play out in a movie format.
Yeah, man. For me, I guess if I knew nothing about Dungeons and Dragons, as we had Ray, Country Boy Ray there, and Ray, he was like, I don't know what's going on, but at the same time, he was entertained. The movie is very comical, extremely comical, very exciting. The CGI was good to me, and that's the thing for me now, man. It's like the CGI is so lazy now. Oh my God! But with this one, even when we were talking about with the pudgy dragon and you know what I mean, and all this other stuff, it looked real to me, man.
Yeah.
It looked pretty real. I was very pleasantly, pleased and surprised. At least with the main antagonist. I don't remember her name, but she was one of the red magicians or something like that, or whatever she was. I liked her role as well. I think she was.
You're talking about Daisy Head.
Yes. She was scary.
She was definitely scary.
She was definitely scary, man. It was like one thing you didn't want her to do was speak. You know what I'm saying? Like if she got to opening her mouth,
It was over with.
it was over for you, dog.
Everybody.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? So, but no, I think everybody brought it, man. I was really happy with everyone's character. I mean, everyone to me played their character very well, especially like Justin Smith, who, what would you call him? Was he a mage?
Justin Smith was a sorcerer.
He was a sorcerer. Okay.
And I think he did a great job of displaying someone with a charisma-based attribute that did not have a lot of self-confidence.
Right.
In D&D, the charisma attribute is based off of self-confidence. How do you communicate with people?
Right.
Do people like you? And, for someone who all his power comes from that and having, self-doubt,
Right.
you can see his struggles in actually being able to perform until he finally...
That's right.
To the occasion.
Yeah, he said, yeah, I can do this, and I am good enough.
Right.
And then he was amazing.
He was.
That charisma boost just.
Yeah.
Bing, bing.
Now in the game, is there a way to boost up your charisma? Or is it just you get what you get, and when you got it, that's just what you have to work with?
Yeah, that's a little more into the technicals of how do you level up, what happens when you level up.
Right.
But yes, typically you can level up your stats when you level up. You can pick to level up whatever you want.
Right.
It just may not necessarily be in your best interest to do so. Depending on how you like to play. If you're playing for a role,
Right.
then do what makes the story better.
Of course.
If you're playing to win, then you probably want to play to your class's strengths.
Yeah. And for me, like I said, starting off, the lower level and everything like that, I didn't get all into, the attributes and everything like that. I just want to get in there and kill something, you know what I'm saying? And swing my sword or shoot my arrow and all this stuff here, you know what I mean? And I recall the very first one that I got, Chop, it was so special to me. And you never forget your first time. You never forget your first time. Oh, well, the only thing I can remember, bro, is that I was an elf. Okay, and I was a pretty handsome elf, as a matter of fact. You know what I'm saying? I was pretty suave as this elf, right?
Very distinguished.
Okay, right. And I do remember that the enemies that we were fighting at the moment, they were straw based. You know what I mean? Like they were made of straw or something like that, right? Some kind of crazy scarecrow-ish thing or whatever, right? And it was my turn to do my thing, and I had this idea because. I think the Dungeon Master, it might have been you, Chop, that told me that the kind of weapons that I had, and one of them was something that would create fire or something like that. And I remember shooting this arrow. I don't know if I did a flip, I did something, but I remember shooting this arrow with the fire right in his chest cavity, man. And oh my God, man, it was just so satisfying that win to hear the Dungeon Master say, like fatality. You know what I'm saying? Like. And you're like, what? I got one? Oh my God! Right?
Yeah, it does. It feels like all of the workup and uncertainty of,
Right.
am I actually going to hit this?
Right.
Watching those dice roll out there and not knowing what the numbers mean necessarily
True.
as a first-time player.
Yes.
Yeah, and then having somebody say, "Good job, you
Good
killed
job. You killed.
Yeah,
You
actually, where I
you
thought-
contributed to the group.
Where I thought you were going with that was where at one point in time you decided to try to use a scimitar as a boomerang.
That's right.
What? Oh yeah, that's it. You smell like a noob now. Yeah, you're moving like a noob.
I was moving like a dude.
Throw this curved sword, and I want it to go in a loop and hit all of these people.
A curve.
Sorry, buddy, that's not how.
That's not how it works. In my mind, though, man, it's like a boomerang. Why isn't it boomeranging? You know what I mean? Come back to me, boomerang.
And that's
Refer back to the top where he says specific rules.
Yes.
right.
Yes.
And that's part of the fun of playing, with a group of friends, is that the DM may then decide, you know what, I make the rules in this, or I get to fudge them, and me as the DM, I decided, you know what, I'm going to create him a weapon, because of that event.
Right.
And so I made a special weapon for him as a result.
Right.
It wasn't all awesome. We'll just put it that way.
Sure.
There were some negative effects.
Yes.
If anyone has played out there and found a cursed weapon or something like
Yes.
that, you know that there are some effects that could not necessarily be all that great.
Right.
This one would teleport you if you missed, and not on purpose.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
For me, man, I good or bad, man, I had a lot of fun. Even if it was one of those things where I'm kind of getting clowned a little bit because they're like, dude, it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? But it's funny though. If you're not going in with your feelings on your shoulders, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, and you know that they're having fun because they're like, look at the new guy, look at the new guy. But the cool thing about it is that one day you will not be the new guy. There will be another new guy, and you get to rag on him a little bit as well.
Rag on him.
Oh yeah, man. Everybody got to go through it. So guys, that was just the trailer of Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves. And as you heard, we really enjoyed this movie. It was exciting, all the way through. I feel, but there was enough emotional story beats in there to make you feel something for these characters, as you were talking about with Justin Smith's character. Who started off like with so much low self-esteem and no confidence, and then literally saying that in the movie, like, the love interest or whatever is not interested in him because of that fact right there, and that's true to life. You know what I mean? I mean, you could be the most handsome guy in the world, and if you don't have the confidence, she's kind of looking at you like, dude, come back when you get that confidence, and we could talk, and then to watch him go through all these things and at the end to be triumphant, you know what I'm saying? Especially against such a powerful sorcerer as Daisy Head's character was. So it was things like that, and the thing with Michelle Rodriguez and her love interest, and oh my gosh, man, I'm sorry, like we said, guys, spoiler review, to see Bradley Cooper in there, man, I was just like, yo, that's my dude, man, that's my dude. So I was really pleasantly surprised to see his character and to see that they had him. You have these little bitty, I don't know what were they, man?
I think they may have been gnomes.
Gnomes, I can see that.
Because they didn't, they weren't stereotypically for D&D.
Right.
You'll have halflings, which
Right.
most people would think of as hobbits.
Hobbits, exactly.
But for legal reasons, they can't call them that.
Of course.
And those are a little stouter, not as stout as, say, a dwarf.
Right.
So you'd have a dwarf would be stout and short.
Yep.
You'd have a hobbit who would be more proportional,
Right.
but short, and then a gnome would be very thin, more elf-like, but with a very small stature.
There you go.
It's funny you say that because whenever I think of gnomes, I just think of the little statues in people's. I'm like, sure, aren't they short and stout and all?
Right? Yeah, it's all different.
True to form.
Yeah.
True to form.
Yeah, man. So just to watch that interaction with her, you know what I'm saying, and of course the relationship with Chris Pine and his daughter, who was played by Chloe Coleman, I think she did a great job. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm liking the things that they're implementing in these movies because it makes people feel more inclusive, more, you know what I mean, like represented. Because I think her mother was black and you know he was white, so she's mixed, and you know what I'm saying. And then this person's, I'm like, I'm loving this. Thank you. Give us something that makes us feel like this is the world, because this is the world we live in. You know what I mean? And you know, just to see that, man, was just like, okay, everybody in the theater can feel included now. You know what I mean? You know, we're all together on this thing. You know, and I really love that, man. And you know, just to watch how they're continuing to do this in these movies and bring people closer together. It doesn't matter what you're seeing on the outside. Is it a good story?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it a good story? Did it make you feel something? And that's the only thing that should matter. I got to give a shout out to my man, Hugh Grant, man. I'm telling you, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. In the beginning, I was not a Hugh Grant fan, like on his earlier stuff. And then as he's just come along, man, he's just gotten more charming, more funny to me. You know what I mean? He's had some great roles. So I was really happy to see him with the role he played, man. He did a great job, man, as another antagonist. You know what I mean? You know, and of course you guys will know this, but he started off as part of the thieves crew and everything, and of course some decisions were made along the story. I won't give y'all everything, but you'll see how it turns out. So yeah, man, no. All in all, I really do feel like it was a great movie. I feel like this is something you guys want to see. That's why we wanted to bring in Chopper, just to let you guys know, like, how close is it to the actual game, or is this just something they took and try to get some cash grab by using the name of Dungeons and Dragons because they know a lot of people, you know, like the game. You know, it has a lot of history behind it. So, Chopper, we want to end this out with finding out what you feel like. What's your score? Like, what do you, as far as review wise, what do you feel about the movie and compared to the game? Would people that like playing the game like this movie?
Especially also too, I don't want to add on to that.
Go ahead.
Just by saying from a dungeon master's eyes, from a DM's eyes, you know.
I think the way that me and my crew play D&D,
yeah,
I felt like this was a game that we would have played in very similar situations. We may have made it last 6 or 7 times as much length. You
Right.
know? They did a great job of condensing all the action,
Of course,
and the mistakes and the laughter and the feels, you know, into a movie-sized piece of time.
right.
There we go.
You know, we've had, my crew has never actually finished a campaign. It just, you know, just life and time and the, you know, the time in between games.
Right.
But it felt like my crew playing a game successfully, like really getting it done.
That's cool. And as a person that has been on that crew once or twice, I feel exactly what you're saying, because I can't recall a time that we've actually gotten to the end of the mission. Like, what? You know, I do remember us picking it up. Hey, so last time on, you know, but it doesn't matter though. Right. It does not matter, man. You would think you're in there for that, but you're not. You're barely even in there for that, man. You're in there for the camaraderie.
Yeah.
You're in there to laugh and joke, and you know what you're mainly in there, just like you started off saying, role playing. You're in there to forget about your reality just for a moment. Just for a moment. I don't care what happened with the boss, how mad he made you, or someone cut you off in traffic or whatever. At that moment, you are the baddest elf, bard, barbarian, mage, paladin, and everything else you heard him say at that moment, and that's all that matters. So I suggest, guys, that y'all pick it up. You go see the movie, you know, check it out. And if you're not afraid of it, and if you don't think that it's going to turn you into some wicked creature or something, why don't you try to play the game, man, and just see if it's for you. If it's not for you, then hey, you know, you don't have to play it. But I would say before you condemn it, at least
Just give it a shot.
give it a shot. Tell them, man, just give it a shot. So here, what we like to do, man, we like to have our little rating system 1 through 10. Give it to me, Chopper. What's your rating for this movie?
I would give it a solid 9.5.
Ooh, wee, that's high numbers, baby.
Dungeon Master, y'all.
Man, straight from the Dungeon Master himself. Now, make sure y'all understand this. This is the guy who plays the game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's talking about how good this movie is. This is the guy who plays the game. So
He also said he could have took a 2-hour and 20-minute film and made it 6-7 hours longer.
wow.
You know, so that score sounds accurate, man.
And I think I will backdoor that with that. I can't give it a perfect 10, of course. You know, you can always find some mistakes here or there or whatever. But I will say the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and go with the 9.5 on this one.
Okay.
I'm going with 9.5. You know what I mean? I couldn't find too much about it that I did not like. I feel like everyone brought it. I felt like it was a good story, and I definitely could see them coming back and doing a part 2 to this and giving us a little bit more, because I feel like now that these characters have evolved a little bit toward the end, when you get to the end of the movie, they have evolved. I'd like to see what else they could bring to the table with this.
Yeah.
You know, let's see session number 2. You know,
There you go.
and see what they got to bring. So, man, I wanna just thank you, Chop, for taking time to come out here, man, with everything that you got going on in your life. You've taken time to sit down here with us. You took time to go to the screening with us this morning. I know this was your first screening. What did you feel about your first screening?
I thought it was great. If all the rest of them turn out like this, I'll definitely be signing up for more.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Yeah, screeners are cool for you guys out there that go to these free screenings. Y'all know what it is, man. You know, it's nothing like a free movie, baby. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, we appreciate you taking time to stop by to hang out. Is there anybody that you would like to shout out before we go?
Well, obviously, I'd like to shout out to the crew, Nakwak, otherwise known as Eric.
There you go.
Blarg, otherwise known as Earl.
Big girl.
And I can't remember what your character's name was. I feel bad about that.
I know, right?
Noob.
I know. That's what my character. I was Noob.
Mr. Elf.
The number 1 noob, yeah. Yeah, man, yeah. It's all good, man. And we can't forget about your boy Jerry. You know what I'm saying? Jeremy definitely comes with it.
Yeah, Coddington, otherwise known as.
Come on, man. Oh, and look, a special shout out. I'm gonna put him on Front Street, you know, even though he doesn't get a chance to stop in sometimes, you know what I mean? But what's up, Micah? You know, holla at your boy, man. You know what I mean? We see you out there, dog. You know what I mean? Because Micah always does come. Micah comes in on the chats. We can't ever get him to come in on the games. So it's like, it's crazy, but he always checks in, you know what I'm saying? He always shows love and everything like that. So shout out to Micah too, man. Definitely shout out to the whole Hopper family, man, for showing me love when I came up there and just taking me in like I was one of their own. So shout out to you guys as well. And of course, you know, they couldn't be here with us today, but shout out to our crew, the Hangout crew, Bree Millie.
Bree Fowler.
You know what I'm saying? It's me, SC. You know, Country Boy Ray, you know what I mean? So, you know, X and Price, we up in here, we holding it down, baby. You know what I'm saying? And definitely shout out always to our researcher, you know, Miss Timmy over there, doing her thing. So, hey, man, listen, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming by to hang out. And please come by, man. You're an intelligent dude, man. You got a lot to talk about, a lot to offer. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure the people can hear it. Like, this guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you want to come by, man, you're more than welcome to stop by to hang out, man.
I appreciate it.
For sure.
I will.
No doubt, man. All right, much love to you guys. Listen, that was our spoiler review of Dungeons and Dragons, and you also got a little treat by going a little bit into the actual game for all you guys, all you curious cats out there, all you curious cat people out there that want to know about that game a little bit more. So if you are interested, please drop them notes in the comments. Let us know if you want a deeper dive into it. We'll bring Chopper back, man, and you never know. We might even play a game live just to see y'all, see how it really goes up in there. Y'all don't want us to do that because you might really be hooked, okay? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So anyway, hey, appreciate y'all, man. Stay safe out there, and much love to you. Peace.
Salute.
Later.